As many in my audience no doubt know, you need a driver's license to drive in the United States. Driving is also not a right. And yet, a Republican now says if you need an ID to rent a car, why don't you need an ID to vote? Guy Reschenthaler, not exactly a genius congressman, we've talked about some of his off-color comments before, is pointing out what he believes is a double standard or a hypocrisy. You need an ID to rent a car. You don't necessarily need one to vote. Why is that, Maria? And Maria Bartiromo on Fox News, listening to this, at least reacts as if it's reasonable. It's always a question what Maria really believes versus whether she's playing some kind of character here. But let's take a listen and then discuss.
Any voter ID laws. I find this amazing that the Attorney General is telling us he's going to vow to fight voter ID.
It's quite remarkable. You can't rent a car in this country without showing an ID. There's office buildings in Washington, D.C. you can't get into unless you show an ID. But then to vote that you don't need an ID. And the Democrats had basically admitted that one of the reasons they want illegal immigrants is so they can have an inflation in the census and expand the areas that are under Democrat-controlled areas. So they can inflate the Electoral College. They can inflate their
How do you inflate the Electoral College? Like, what kind of a, do you need a bike pump for that? Or what does that even really mean? Now, let's break this down in a couple of different ways. Number one, renting a car is not a right. Driving is not a right. You need a driver's license, period. And so it's perfectly logical that to rent a car, something that is not a right, and also as required by law, you need to have a driver's license. You would have to present a driver's license to Enterprise or to Hertz or to Avis or to whoever you use. It's not really the gotcha that they think it is, that you need a driver's license to drive a car. Voting is a constitutional right. Driving is not a constitutional right. Renting cars is not a constitutional right. But I want to go further because there's really a bigger conversation here about voter ID. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'll speak for myself. I don't have a problem with voter ID in principle. The problems I have are that, number one, in practice, it's not actually as free and easy to get such an ID as Republicans want you to think it is. And number two, I don't think it would actually be the blockbuster deterrent to so-called undocumented immigrants voting that Republicans think it is, because if you're an undocumented immigrant, you can't get on the voter rolls to begin with. And so what we're talking about with voter ID is preventing, I guess, an undocumented immigrant from showing up at the voting booth. No, you'd have to know Joe Smith from New York City votes here. You'd have to go. You'd have to hope that Joe Smith hasn't already voted, and you'd have to claim to be Joe Smith. That's a really stupid way to try to steal an election. And so even as a way to prevent the theft of elections that's not happening, it's not that useful. But they say, oh, you just get the ID. It's free. Number one, you often need documents to get the IDs that are not free. The underlying documents aren't free to get copies of, or whatever the case may be. Those who have had housing instability are less likely to have those documents and more likely to have to go and take time off from work because a lot of the offices you get the documents are only open 9 to 5. So you are losing wages. There are also maybe transportation costs involved, particularly when you are in a state that has relatively few of these offices. So also the claim that you just go and get it, it's free, is often not the case. But as far as the comparison to driver's licenses, driving's not a constitutional right, and you're required by law to be licensed to drive. The analogy to voting is not a good one.